Hey everybody, we get started today building out the floor is lava. Oh yeah, but for licensing purposes we will call it lava floor. Oh yeah. This is lesson 1 where we're getting it all started. Let's go to create and open up a brand new project. Right away, let's go ahead and name everything up at the top, lava floor. Nice, now it's named. And we're gonna go ahead and delete Scratch Cat. I know it's very sad. Let's say bye,
Goodbye.
Scratch Cat, bye. Because we're gonna use Pico as our sprite for this adventure. So let's go add in Pico. Let's go to our sprites area down here in the bottom right corner, and we're going to search for a sprite. And we are looking for Pico. We're gonna go ahead and choose Pico walking because check that out, Pico can walk. This one, he just kind of has facial expressions. We want this little guy moving. So let's choose Pico walking. Click on him and that'll drop him into your project. To make this easy, we're gonna back this out and just call this Pico instead of Pico walking. So you change that sprite name right there and you see it changed right here as well. All right, you wanna have fun right away? Let's grab a move block over here from the left side and drag it in. The block that says move 10 steps. Click on it and watch Pico move. Just keep clicking. Click, bye. Have fun, Pico. See you later. Bye. Bye, Pico. Bye. But wait, Pico, where are you going? Ah! Oh, You can go over there, grab him, bring him back. Hey, Pico, stop trying to run away. All right, so you've already made some animation right there. How fun is that? But that's not the whole game. We want to get this whole thing going looking cool, just like the example I showed you. So let's go ahead and take the little move block and get rid of it. We're going to throw it away. So let's go ahead and add in the background. Over here on the very far right side is choose a backdrop, and we're going to search. Now I'm going to ask you to use the exact one I'm using, and then you can always make your own version of this game some other time. But for now, we are looking for room 2 right here. Now that we've got the scene set, let's go ahead and go over to events, and we're going to start to add code to Pico to help him start to move around. So let's go ahead and grab the little when the green flag is clicked block. For those of you who have never built before in Scratch, that's how every single Scratch game starts. You have to click the green flag in order to get the code to start to be activated. So you want a when the green flag is clicked block to be our first one. Well, then what? Well, right away I'll tell you that Pico is a little too large. I mean, it's kind of really big in comparison to our furniture. So let's make Pico a little bit smaller. Let's go up here to looks and grab the set size 2, and let's set the size to 50%, and let's see. Oh, ooh, he's tiny. Look how little. Hey, Pico. That's kind of cool though. Maybe 60% is the right. Let's try 60%. And click. Okay, that's a good size. I think that looks like he would be able to sit on that chair pretty easily. All right. There's Pico, set to size 60. Okay, the next step is to actually build out the platform that Pico will start the game standing on and be able to jump from. So let's go to sprites, and instead of searching for one, we're gonna paint our own. Let's click on paint. And here you'll wanna go to the fill color and be certain that the first slider is set far to the left, the second slider is set all the way to the right, and the third slider is set all the way to the left. So you'll have numbers 0, 100, and 0. And that'll give us the black color that we need. Remember, follow along as best as you can, doing exactly what I'm sharing with you, and you can always make your own version later. You also want to be certain that your outline is off. So just click that little no or that ignore button right there, and that will take off the outline. All right, with that, we're gonna grab our rectangle or square tool here, and we're just gonna draw a little box down here in the left bottom corner, just like that. That's kind of big, but that's okay. because you can kind of drag it and drop it right over here. You see how that works? And then we'll grab Pico up and stand him on top of it. And now it looks like Pico is standing on a really cool box or platform.
Wow.
If you want to get fancy and kind of round out the corners and such and make it look really cool, we can do that too. Let's grab our circle tool, and keeping with the same color, we're going to kind of draw a little circle here on the edge. All right, that looks cool. And let's go ahead and grab another rectangle tool and draw it up like right maybe there, and drop it down to where it's just even. And now it looks like a, I don't know, it looks kind of cool. I'm going to grab my selector tool here, highlight those, all three of them, and I'm going to group them together. So now they're one thing, and I can kind of shrink them down if I need to a little bit. There you go. That looks like the right size for Pico to be standing on. There's my little platform. All right, next, let's go back over to our code block for Pico. And we need him to be exactly where you want him to go back to start the game every time. So drag him around and put him right on the spot. Be certain that he's touching the black color. Put him right on the spot that you want him to go back to start his game. So as soon as you've got him sitting there, you're going to see these numbers right here. And this is his exact coordinates. You see, if I move him around, it's going to be different. If I bring him back, there you go, right? This is his exact coordinates on the X and Y axis of our game. How cool is that? But we don't even need to pay attention to those, because we can go right over here to motion, and we can grab the block that says go to X and Y and drag it over and drop it right there. And so that means whenever the green flag is clicked, Pico will go right back to that starting position and be able to start the game. Next, because we'll have him walking left and right and doing all sorts of fun jumping around, we need to be certain he's pointed in the right direction to start the game. So let's grab our point in direction 90 and drop it right there. Next, we've got to get Pico walking. This is going to be so much fun. Let's do this. Okay, we're going to go to controls and grab our forever block, drop it right there. And we're going to grab our if-then statement block. Drop that right there. Okay, so this block means if something happens, then do this. So what we want to tell it right now is if we're pressing the right key, we want Pico to be able to move to the right. So let's go grab our sensing block that is key space pressed. And we'll change it here. Drop that in and say key right arrow. So if the right arrow is pressed, then what is Pico supposed to do? Well, we want to have him move. So let's go to motions and say move 10 steps. Got it. Very nice. Let's test it out. Click that green flag and let's have Pico move. What? He's floating in the air and I can't go back to the left. He can only go to the right. Pico, where are you going? Huh? Well, we know at least our code works correctly for the right side, but it also doesn't look like he's walking. We need him to actually change those costumes so that he actually shifts his legs and arms and it makes it look like he's walking. So let's go to looks and let's grab the next costume and drop it in there. And now let's test it again and see if, oh, now it looks like he's walking and floating in the air still, and I still can't go back to the left. But so far, so good. Let's right mouse click on the if then statement and click duplicate. And let's drop it in, pay attention to where this fits in, right underneath the first if then statement. We can change this one to say left arrow. Nice. All right, let's test it and see what happens. Moving to the right, and wait, my left key is still moving him to the right. What just happened? Oh, I gotta change his direction. That makes sense. All right, so let's go back to motion. And in our first if-then statement, let's say point in direction 90. And let's put that just above our 10 steps. Then, in this bottom one, let's say point in the other direction. And just above the 10 steps, and let's say negative 90. All right, let's test it. Going right, what just happened? Going right, going up. How is he walking upside down? What just happened? Wackadoo! Oh, I know what we're supposed to do. Let's add one more block right up here to the top. That is set style rotation left and right. Let's drop it in right underneath the green flag and let's test it again and see he's walking to the right, walking to the left. Now he's not upside down. Perfect. Pico can walk. All right, walking is really cool, but he's got to jump around in order to get to the furniture, right? He can't just float in the air. So how do we get Pico to actually jump? Well, we've got to do some fancy coding over here. Let's go over to variables, and we're going to make our own variables. We're going to click the button up here that says make a variable. We're going to make two. So the first one we're going to do is called y velocity, and be sure to click for this sprite only. Click OK. Then we're going to create another one, make a variable. We're going to name this one going up and click for this sprite only. Okay. Wait a second. Why are these showing up on my game? I don't want these over here. Let's uncheck these boxes and that'll clear them off our screen. Nice. All right, let's start to make our code stack now that's going to help Pico actually jump. Let's go back to events and get our green flag block. When the green flag is clicked and the game is started, let's go back to our variables and grab set y velocity to 10. And then over to controls and grab a forever block. And then get one of our if-then statement blocks and nest it right in there. Let me zoom in a little bit for us so we can see this a little bit closer. There you go. Now we're going to use those same sensing blocks about the keys, but we're going to use the up key. So key up arrow is pressed, then do what? Well, we want him to jump if he's standing on the black color, right? Because that'll be the platform he can jump off of. He can't just jump in midair. So we have to say another if-then statement. Let's get another control and nest another if-then statement. Let's get our sensing block, and we're looking for the touching color block. Drop that in here, and then to ensure that we're doing the exact right color, let's click on the little circle and click on this little tiny eyedropper here and go over to our game and see I can click on any color in here. I want to click on the platform color, and that'll match it exactly. Looks good. Okay. So this now says if I'm pressing the up arrow key and Pico is touching black, then he's allowed to do something. Well, we're going to go back to variables and we're going to say set our y velocity to 15. And we're going to grab another one, the going up, set going up to 1. All right, and then we can say we're going to repeat this 10 times. Let's go to controls and say repeat 10. Let's grab this. Now this is a tricky spot. We're nesting it right underneath our set going up, right there. Repeat 10 times. We're going to change by. So let's go to motion, and we're going to say change y by. I know this is getting tricky. We can do it. And then we're going to grab our variable. Instead of saying 10, we're going to put y velocity in there. So grab y velocity and drag it down and lay it on top of the number 10. And it nested right in there perfectly. Good job. While we're here, we're going to grab one of the change by and drop it in there. Change by, and we're going to choose y velocity. And we're going to say -1. This is how we're going to allow him to kind of have his gravity and go up and down, right? Because he's got to be able to jump up in the air. All right, we've got one more to add in here. Let's grab our set going up, and you want to skip one and put it right here, right in there. So you've got 1, 2, 3 on the bottom, then set, and leave it at 0. All right, let's test it and see if Pico can jump. He jumped up. It worked. Do. Try again. Yeah, he jumped up. He didn't fall down though. That's because we haven't created the gravity just yet. But what we've done now is we've given him the ability to jump. Perfect, Pico. I want to add in some cool sound though, like make it sound like a video game. So let's do that while we're here. Let's go over to sounds. And right now there's only like, let's grab a start sound here. And we'll drag it up and we'll drop it right above the Y velocity 15. Put it right in there. And let's test it and see what it sounds like. Oh, it's just a little pop, a little pop, right? Try again. I don't know, I want like a classic jump sound. So let's go to our library of sounds up here on the top. We'll go down here and we'll search for a new sound. And I'm gonna search for jump. Yeah, that sounds like it. Just click on it, it'll add it to your library. Then we can go back to our code and it'll be available in this little drop down now. There it is, jump. Boop. And click stop and then start. Pico return to the platform, perfect, and jump. And it sounds great. All right, now we've got him flying up in the air, but we've got to build the code to actually bring him back down. Let's build some gravity. We're going to go to events and get our green flag block and start a third column of code. Here we go. Move this over a little bit so kind of focus on this one. Got it. Okay, let's go ahead and go to controls and grab a forever block. Drag it in, drop it. Let's get our if-then statement block and nest it in there. All right, this is going to be fun. We're using operators. We haven't done this just yet. So hold on, we're looking for one very specific one. We're looking for the one that says something and something happening here. Let's grab that one, drag it over, and nest it right. See it how it highlights? Boop, drop it right in there. Perfect. All right, next, we're looking for an equals sign. So the one that says something equals something. Let's grab that one. And we're going to nest it in the very first one. Again, you're looking for it to highlight, not that one, right there, that first one. See how it highlights just that one? Drop it in that one. Perfect. Good job. Now we're going to go back to our Y variables and get our going up and drop it in that first circle. Boom, done. And instead of 50, we're going to set that to 0. Then we are going to add something in this parameter right here. We're going to go back to operators and find the one that says not something. So let's grab that, drag it over, and drop it when it highlights in this far right one. Drop it right there. Perfect. And then we're going to go to sensing, and we're going to grab the color, touching color, and we're going to use our black color. Remember, we're going to get our eyedropper and go over to our platform. There. So what this is telling it is if Pico is going up and not touching black, right? If he's not touching black, then do something else. So what we want to do is we want to change something. We want to change the velocity. So we want to go over to our motion blocks and we want to look for change Y by. Change Y, not X. Change Y by. Go back to our variables, get our Y velocity, and drop it over that 10 number. Perfect. And then we're going to grab our change, and we're going to say change Y velocity by -1. It's very important that you drop it in negative there. And look, he fell back down. We just created gravity. Click your green flag and see if he jumps. Hey, Pico! Oh, he just fell off. I just had him walk. Can you jump up, Pico? Oh, but he's not touching black anymore because he's like, you see his little hair right there? He's not touching, oh, now he's touching black. He was able to climb back up on the platform. How cool is that? Our code works. All right, but this game is called Lava Floor. So we need to put in some lava on the floor. So let's go to our sprites and let's create some lava. Let's go to paint and let's change the color to a really cool red. Why not? All the way over to the right, all 3 of them. Drag all those sliders all the way over to the right. Your outline should still be off, which is perfect. Let's grab our square or our rectangle tool and drag this out right across the bottom. There it is, but it's kind of in Pico's face. Sorry about that, Pico. I'm gonna drop it right down here where it's just kind of visible, but like not really in his way. Let's see, I'm gonna bring it down a little bit. It's right there. Ooh, I like that. There you go. So that will be our lava. So instead of it being called Sprite 1, let's rename it to lava. Jump back over to code and go to Pico, and we're going to add another block. So let's go to our events and grab our green flag. Boop, there you go. And let's grab a forever block inside of controls, forever. And let's grab an if-then statement. So forever do this. If Pico's ever touching lava, right? So our touching blocks are in sensing. If Pico is ever touching, let's go here and drop it in. And we're going to say touching lava. Nice. All right, then what's going to happen? Well, let's have him say something. So let's go to looks. This is a block we haven't used yet. Let's grab say hello for 2 seconds. He's not going to say hello. Let's say the floor is lava. Try again, right? And we'll leave that there for 2 seconds. That's fine. All right, let's see if that works. Let's go, Pico. Let's see if Pico goes for a walk. Let's see. Walk, 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 walk. Ah, the floor is lava. Try again. It worked. All right, but I want to add some sound effects and make it dramatic. So let's go into our sounds library and let's go again and go search. And let's look for slide whistle. Yeah, that sounds right. I've added it to my library just by clicking on it. I'm going to go back over to my Pico code and let's go to sounds and let's say start sound slide whistle. And let's put it right above when he announces the floor is lava. All right. Then we need to add a stop. So let's go to controls and let's grab a stop all and we're going to drop it in right underneath the say the floor is lava. And so basically this will end the game because Pico's fallen in the lava. Sad day. Let's test our game and see if it works. Jump, Pico, jump. Ah, the floor is lava. And I can't do anything else. The game is over. Yeah, perfect. Okay, but he's got to be able to jump to something and win the game. How does he win the game? Well, he's got to be able to jump over here to the furniture, right? So let's actually make some furniture toppers for him to be able to land on and make the game work. Let's do this. Let's go to our sprites and we're going to click paint. We want to go back and get our black color. Remember what that was? All the way to the left, all the way to the right, all the way to the left. Yep, 0, 100, 0. That's our color. And now this can get tricky, so pay attention. We're going to have some fun here. I'm going to use my rectangle tool and I'm going to drag this out right here. And now I'm going to try to take a flat image, one-dimensional, and I'm going to use the reshape tool to try to turn it into a little bit of a two-dimensional image by dragging it and kind of moving it around a little bit to try to make the tabletop right here. And you want it to not be a thin line, but you want it to kind of just lay. See how it's building out over here? I'm going to bring it over to the tabletop. And I'm going to try to drag it and have it sit right on top of that. This is definitely the trickiest part. Sometimes you get in an extra little node right there. So, and it's really easy to do, but you can take this and make it all sorts of weird wonky shapes and you're like, that's not what I'm going for. So if you want to, you can click your undo button up here, kind of back those out. Yikes. Or you can also click on one if you make one accidentally and you can click delete and it'll delete that node out of the way. But I'm just dragging the 4 corners right now to try to reshape this to sit a little bit more directly on top of this coffee table. And the reason why I'm using this is because Pico will be able to jump and land perfectly on that coffee table now that we've built a tabletop. All right, cool. But I also want him to be able to jump to the bookshelf and jump maybe up to the top of the lamp and even on the chair. So I'm going to make those pieces as well. Use my rectangle tool and let's see if I can make the top of the chair seat now. This is going to be tricky, so I'm going to zoom in and see if I can get a little closer to this. Use your reshape tool, grab those edges and try to flatten them out a little bit and make the top of that chair seat there so that Pico can jump to that chair seat. What's tricky now though is I can't take this and move this over here because now they move like all at the same time. But you can move it over here. So grab your selector tool and you can move it over here and try to get it down on that chair seat. Kind of cool, huh? Yeah, move it around. There you go. That's not bad. I'm going to use my reshape tool. Kind of stretch it out a little bit. Nice. That looks pretty cool. All right, I'm going to try to make one. I'm going to use the circle for the top of the lamp. See if I can make like a cool little circle up here.
5 minutes later.
That's not bad at all. All right. So there's that. Give that lamp a little top so that Pico can jump up there if he needs to. And then one last one. Use my rectangle tool again and put a topper on top of that bookshelf right there. Grab my reshape tool and try to flatten that out a little bit and see if I can turn this. If you need to pause this video and work on this yourself, it's totally fine. No rush at all. That's why it's really cool to learn from a video because you can pause me and rewind me. Let me grab this, drop it down. If you make a mistake, it's okay. You can click your back button and start over. It's totally fine. All right, I think my furniture is covered really well. Instead of this being called Sprite 1, I'm going to rename this Furniture. All right, let's see if Pico can actually jump over to it. Let's check it out. Jump, Pico. Jump, Pico. All right. Oh, wait a second. Pico's legs are like behind the stuff. What? His head. What? Oh, I know what we can do. I mean, he's jumping and he's landing on it, but it looks like he's like walking through it or something. Let's fix that. All right, let's go back. Stop our game. Let's go back. Click on Pico. And let's go back to our code. And we're going to go all the way back to our very first block that has our set rotation style. And let's add in a looks block that tells it to, let's see, where is it? Right here. Go to the front layer. That's the one we're looking for. Go to the front layer. Okay. So that should actually put Pico now able to go do this. So let's start the game. Click the green flag. Jump, jump. Now, there you go. Now he can jump all the way around. Nice. If you think it's too easy, you can shrink down the size of Pico and see if you'd like him to be a little bit smaller if you wanted to. But yes, there you go. Okay, so now we've got our furniture built. Pico's jumping around, we've got gravity, everything's looking great, but how does he actually win the game? We've got to give him a way to exit so that he can win. So let's build him an exit ramp. Let's go back to our sprites and go to paint. Using our same color black and our rectangle tool, we're going to draw a ramp out of this room. So we're going to use our little reshape tool here. Oh yeah. And we'll kind of drag it up in this top corner here. You kind of want to make it to where he can actually like get on it though, because it will be his exit ramp. And I'm just going to kind of move it around a little bit here, drag it over there maybe. Okay, there, that's pretty cool. That's really close though to that lamp. I think that's too easy for Pico. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller, make it challenging. He's got to jump far to get out of this room. There you go. I kind of like that. All right, so that's where Pico's going to jump to. And let's go ahead and rename it from Sprite 1. We'll rename it to Winner, right? Because that's where he's going to win, right up on that platform. Way to go. All right, so the last stack of code, let's go to Pico, and let's go back to code, and let's build our last stack that will announce that he won the game. How cool is this? Let's go to Events and click on our green flag and drop it in. Let's go to Controls and get a Forever. And an if-then statement, and drop it in. And now we're going to say if, let's go to our sensing, if Pico is touching Winner platform, right, the exit ramp, then do what? All right, well, we're going to go to Events, and we're going to broadcast a message. We're going to say broadcast message, and we're going to create a new message and call it Game Over, right? Because he won the game. Okay, perfect. Then we want to add like something fun and like great sound right here. So let's go back to our sounds and let's look for another sound. And we're going to look for cheer. Somebody just really excited cheering for him. Let's see. I like it. Let's click on that one, add it to our library. Go back to code. And now we can go to sounds and actually grab start sound cheer. And let's drop it in right there. Perfect. And let's add in something extra. I think we need Pico to like change colors and just look silly and fun. I love that. Let's go to looks and let's say change color by 25. Let's just see what that does to him. I think that'll be fun. And let's also grab a say. And let's say, Pico will say, I win for 2 seconds. All right, let's test our game and see if it all works. All right, moving around. Good job, Pico. Don't fall in the lava. Jump up. If you'd like to add a level 2 with a totally different room, check out my next video that helps Pico get from level 1 to level 2.